I learned this, this is one of the first clinics I ever went to. And again, it might have been that one over in the Twin Cities. Listen to a big-time coach talk, and he says, search out successful coaches at clinics. They tend to gather together. So do the losers. And how he explained this was, he said, you know, coaches, when you go to a clinic, you know, most of the clinic work gets done on napkins in the bar afterwards or in somebody's motel room or whatever. He says, you know, you go to these bars, you can learn a lot. You'll see these guys that have won championships, they're kind of together and they're talking about things, and then at the other end of the bar you get these 4 or 5 coaches going, well hell, the refs sucked, I didn't have enough quality kids this year. They kind of hang together. And again, this is nothing I came up with, but this is something I live with. I've tried to do this my entire life. I'm going to throw some names out to you. Some of you guys may have recognized them. Some of you know, most of you guys probably won't. But the guys that I look for is Teddy Thompson, Larry Hoff, Jay Buckley, Gordy Schofield, and Link Walker when he was at UW Eau Claire. Those guys kind of hung together and they all won championships. And I learned so much from those guys. I didn't buy into listening to the guys who couldn't get it done, who were pissing and moaning about everything. It was never their fault. Okay, coach. Another one that I like to talk about. Last guy with the pencil always wins. So when you pick up this offense or defensive scheme, trust them. Trust yourself. There's a book out there. It's a hard book to read. It's a lot of medical terminology, but it's called Blink. That's the name of the book, Blink. And what it's all about is how often and how accurate a person's gut feelings are and their first thoughts. My first opinion, my first gut feeling. And they give a lot of examples in here of how that is accurate as hell. So, you buy into an offense, a defense, some sort of scheme or whatever, you're going to sit down with somebody and you're scheming out on paper. That guy that's sitting across from you is going to go, yeah, but I can do this, I can beat that. And if you let it go there, then last guy with the pencil just won. Believe in yourself, believe in your system that you're going to buy into, your gut feelings. But always remember the last guy with the pen. And I like that too. I like to have the last pencil when I talk to my coaches. I get the pencil last so I can end this thing. Okay, next one. Learn this at a clinic. Be careful hiring coaches. It's much easier to hire than fire. This has been one of the biggest heartaches of my coaching career. When you end up with some coaches that don't fit. For whatever reason. They can't get along with kids, they don't believe in what you're doing, they backstab you, they don't show up, etc., etc. Man, it's hard to get rid of them. It's hard to, I have a hard time going up to somebody and say, you know, you can't do it. You can't work for us anymore. You suck, you're a shitty coach.
Sorry, I had to find out.
Whether you say it or not, that's what the guy thinks you're thinking. So be careful. Just be careful. Okay, go to the next one. This is very hard for me to do, and I've done this. Even these 2 clowns that I coached here, they're smarter than I am. You know, I'm not afraid to associate with smart people. And I'm not very smart. A lot of coaches are intimidated. I've been around coaches that would not have anybody that knows any more than they do, because that is a threat to their authority. Not to me, man. I'll tell you what, I want smart people around me, because they make me look good. I knew there was a time when I'd have to tell you guys that you're smart. Well, this finally happened. Don't hold me to it now, okay? Okay, next one. I love this one for assistant coaches. This is huge. Argue your point of view in meetings, but no matter what the outcome of the meeting is, support it as strongly as it was your idea. When you get into a staff meeting, you're going to debate things. May not be what you like, may not be your thought, may not be something that you think is right, but when a head coach comes to a decision, you need to support it as strongly as if it was your idea. You can't leave that meeting, go to the local bar and say, yeah, Coach Raykovich was going to do this, I think it really sucks. It's a shitty idea, I'd never do that. Well, you just eroded the whole program. Okay, you just blown the confidence that some people may have had in the program that you just destroyed right now. I think this is a strong statement. Next. Are there any volunteer coaches in here? Is there anybody that volunteers? Okay. I don't like volunteer coaches. I don't mean that I don't like you, but what I don't like about volunteer coaches is that that's what they are, and when it comes to nut cutting time, they're going to bail on you sooner or later. Now, Coach, you might be an exception to the rule, and I salute you if you are, but I've been burnt so many times by coaches that will say, hell, I'm not going to that meeting on Saturday, I'm not getting paid. I'm not going to help collect equipment at the end of the season, I'm not getting paid, I'm just a volunteer. Or they come in strong, man, I'm a volunteer, but I'm going to be here every day. Good, then you've got the tight ends, and they're yours. They need to do this, they need to do that, and that. They're yours. Well, pretty soon the guy doesn't show up because his job wouldn't let him go or whatever, okay? Because he's a volunteer. And as a head coach, you can't hold him to that. You can't say, I'm going to fire your ass, volunteer coach. You can't do that. He's a volunteer. So I would rather figure out a way to pay a coach a little bit so they have more buy-in to it. So they feel like they're more part of it. So coach, I like guys that like to be around the program, but I don't think it's fair to be a volunteer coach. Maybe I should have said that. I don't think it's fair to be a volunteer coach. Go to the next one. Write this one down, guys. Make sure you got this one down. Capitalize it, underline it. Two years ago, I came up with this harebrained idea. 7-on-7. First off, I hate 7-on-7. I don't like it. I don't even know if kids like it. So instead of, well, and then you only get 5 contact days, so you can't run it yourself anyway. UW Eau Claire had a lead. So I had 3 quarterbacks, and I asked the 3 quarterbacks' dads if they would run the 7-on-7 for me. Oh my God, has that been terrible. We're not running his plays now. My pass plays are better than yours. I took stats on my kid. He had better stats than the other 2 quarterbacks. I'm telling you, it was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. I will never let parents get too close to the program again. Yeah. I wish somebody would have. I wish I'd have learned that a little bit earlier on in my coaching career, because maybe it only happened to you one time, but when it happens to you, it's going to hurt. Next. I picked this one up. About 5 years ago at a clinic. And I live by this. This was my 42nd year of coaching. And people say, how many more years are you going to do it? I say, hell, I don't know, forever. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to quit in a year or 2. Because when you do that, you say you're already done. You're already planning to do something else. If I tell you right now, I'm going to coach 1 more year, then that's it. Well, I'm going to be thinking about, where am I going to be going on vacation? Do I need a new boat? What am I going to be doing here? You're not going to be thinking about the kids you're supposed to be working with, your program, things you're supposed to be developing, and on a continuous basis. You've already quit. Again, I didn't come up with this. I wish I would have, but I think that's a great statement.